Hi everyone, today we're going to be making baked egg rolls and I'm pretty excited about that. When I was in high school I used to eat an egg roll and wonton soup for lunch a lot and I love egg rolls. So this is the healthiest version that I could come up with and still have some good flavor, and I get to use my own carrots from my garden. My dog wants to eat them because he loves carrots. But I was kind of wondering why my carrots are short and stubby. I'm not sure if it was the kind that I planted or what. Mom, tell me about what I'm doing wrong. I do have one green pepper to use in the recipe as well, so that's kind of cool. So let's go make some baked egg rolls. So I went ahead and got started and I shredded my cabbage. I used my shredder. I have about 3.5 cups of shredded cabbage, and now I'm going to cut the remaining part of my vegetables. And don't laugh, but I have a cutting glove now because Brian saw my last video of me practically cutting my fingers with my knife and dangerously using it. So he has given me this cutting glove to help me stay safe in the kitchen. And I have to admit it, with all the years behind me of cooking and not owning a cutting glove, sometimes I wish I would have, because I have cut myself way too many times. So the nice thing about having a cutting glove, for all of you that don't have one, is it makes me feel much more confident to move a little faster in the kitchen, so it'll get me out of the kitchen a little faster. So there's something to that. So I will wear the cutting glove. So I am cutting a 1/2 cup or so of colored peppers and some regular pepper as well. Since we're not going to have any meat in this, I'm just going to be adding a little bit more on the vegetable end to give it some other added flavor. As you can see, I have some scallions here. They're quite small because they're from my garden and kind of like my dwarf carrots that I just cut up. They're not too big, and I don't think it's because I haven't let them grow long enough. I think it's more along the lines of my zucchini over there. They have been strangling out most of my garden. Note to self, next year, don't grow as much zucchini. As you may notice, I'm using a blue cutting board today. The nice thing about going plant-based is once I bleached all my cutting boards, I can use whichever cutting board I want when I make a meal. Not that I was ever very good about using the right cutting board for my meat versus my vegetables. I know you're supposed to have a specific one, but I usually grab the one that was washed. What I'm cutting now is actually a little bit of a jalapeno. Again, I just like to have some kick in my meal. I don't think it's a very common ingredient in an egg roll. But if you're going to have pepper in an egg roll, why can't you have a little bit spicier pepper? That's what I say. And here's another hard lesson I learned. After cutting a pepper, don't put your finger in your eye. I just did that before I started filming. No joke. Little Visine took care of that, but it didn't feel too good. In order to cut back on the amount of oil that I'm using today, I'm going to saute the vegetables in a no chicken broth today. Okay, we're starting off with just a couple of tablespoons of broth because we want it to eventually cook out. We just don't want to have to use oil. This is just so it doesn't stick to the pan. The first thing I'm going to put in is carrots because I want them to cook the longest. Okay, it's been 2 minutes of cooking the carrots. I'm going to add just a little bit more broth before I add the peppers next, the peppers and the scallions. So cooking these vegetables separately is a personal preference because I like my cabbage to be a little on the harder side, and it doesn't take much to cook your cabbage down. So I like getting these vegetables softened up before I add cabbage to the pan. Okay, after another 2 minutes, I'm going to add the cabbage. So by this point in the stir fry process, I have added several tablespoons of broth. So that's kind of another nice thing about using broth instead of oil in your cooking. As you add the broth, you're just adding more flavor to your food. So just keep in mind though, the sodium content, the salt that's in the broth, you just don't want to use too much in your recipe if you're going to be cooking with broth. You just want to make sure it balances out for your flavor. I'm going to add just a little bit more. Okay, I'm cooking this on like medium-high now because I just want the cabbage to go ahead and cook down a little bit. And at this point, because I don't want it to cook down too much, because like I said, I like my cabbage kind of crunchy in my egg roll, I'm going to be adding some cashews. So Brian loves cashews in his Chinese dishes. And since we're not putting meat in this egg roll, we're going to put cashews. I'm using about 1/4 cup of cashews for this recipe. I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of sprouts. That's a flexible ingredient. You can do it with or without them. All right, at this point, I'm going to start adding my seasonings. I have 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of garlic. Looks like I put the garlic in, and that's ginger. Okay, so you might want to cook your egg roll mixture down a little bit more, but like I said, I like it a little crunchy, and you got to remember, this is going to cook more in the egg roll in the oven. We got to cook the egg rolls for 15 minutes at 425, so this cabbage will cook even more. Okay, so this is my mixture cooled for just a few minutes. You might want to wait for it to cool for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm in a hurry to make these egg rolls because Brian's gonna be home any minute. So I'm trying to finish this up. So I'm gonna be dealing with a slightly hot mixture. And there's Brian calling right now. And now I'm gonna start wrapping my egg rolls. And I might have to use a spoon to make sure I get all the nuts in there because they're all falling to the bottom. Okay, so the way I wrap these egg rolls is just point to point and then press down here, fold up, put a little bit of my chicken broth on the sides to help it to stick. And then again here, and it sticks, and onto the tray. It's not as cool, I can put it over here. All right, this one's like all cabbage. Share the carrots over there. Gotta even them out. It usually takes me a while to roll these up, so I don't preheat the oven until I get at least four to six of them done. So I'm going to preheat the oven now to 425. So far we have done a nice low-calorie, healthy version of the egg roll. It's typically fried. I don't want to fry it. However, I have tried different versions on making these, and I have tried to totally eliminate the oil in the baking process. And quite frankly, I didn't care for the flavor. I'm trying to mimic something that I fell in love with years ago. And so I want it to taste somewhat like what I'm used to. And so this is sesame oil, I guess toasted sesame seed oil. And this gives it a much nicer flavor, as well as it browns it up better, and it kind of feels more like a fried egg roll. And so to me, the little bit of oil in my diet still, it's okay. I just stay on the treadmill that much longer. So as you can see, I'm using as little as I can, but I'm making sure I get all areas of the egg roll, and I'm putting them back on the tray with the seam down. Not that I think it's gonna come undone, but that's the most efficient way to ensure that it doesn't come undone. So for my last egg roll wrapper, here's an idea for you to use egg roll wrappers if you've never thought of this before. So this is vegan cream cheese, and I'm basically gonna spread that across my egg roll wrapper. Egg roll wrappers don't have to be used just for cabbage, you know. There's lots of fun, yummy things you can put in an egg roll wrapper. So vegan cream cheese, and we're almost out because we love this and we still buy bagels. Some of our weaknesses is the egg and bread. Okay, so we've got that. This is my latest, greatest sweet treat, date syrup. So I've got a little date syrup in there. I'm going to put some walnuts in there. I guess that's enough. Okay. And sliced apple. This is just about a half of an apple. I've only done this one other time before, but it was yummy last time. Okay, so there. I guess it'll fit that way. Okay. So now we wrap it up just like we did our egg roll. And I'm just gonna baste this treat one with some coconut oil now. So after eating a bunch of egg rolls, I'll have a treat to eat afterwards. And there are the egg rolls. Nice and crispy. They need about a good 5 minutes to cool. Don't make the mistake of trying to eat them too soon and burning your mouth like we do all the time. Because they look so good, you just want to eat them so quickly, but leave them and let them cool for 5 minutes. Okay, so now they've been sitting for more than 10 minutes, but they're definitely edible. So I'm gonna eat the one that's broken, and I'm going to take the sweet treat too and have some of that as well. I'll save half for Brian, I suppose. Don't they look nice and crispy though? I'm so excited. Okay, so are we the only ones that have a collection of Chinese takeout like flavors? So I can use whatever one I want with my egg roll and make it more authentic that way? Brian, he actually likes a mustard that he bought at the store because we actually ran out of most of these mustards. So, but I like the spicy mustard with my egg roll. I love the flavor, and it's somewhat crisp. I won't lie, baking it doesn't match a fried egg roll, but they're very good. I like the little bit of kick that I put the jalapeno in there. What you think? You don't want any of these. I think I could eat about 3 of these pretty easily. I get my crumbs. Good job. I even have a leftover fortune cookie to have after I eat. Alright, so I'm gonna put this back for Brian. There's my apple dumpling type treat. Mmm. This I'm gonna make with all the wrappers next time. It's like a mini apple pie. Okay, I'm gonna read my fortune. I need my glasses, don't I, Loki? Hold on. All right. Okay, so we've had it too long. It's stale. I can unfold it. Not much crack to it. I don't need to eat it, but we'll see what the fortune is. Get your mind set. Confidence will lead you on. How appropriate for the fact that I started this YouTube channel. Well, thanks for joining Loki and I for another party for our taste buds with our baked egg rolls and our special treat of the apple something something. All I know is it's yummy. Have a great week.